Charles Darwin was born February 12, 1809 in Mount Shrewsbury, UK. He died April 19, 1882 in Downhouse, UK.
Charles Darwin was married to Emma Darwin. Together they had 10 children. His parents were Robert Darwin and Susanna Darwin.
Darwin's mother died when he was 8 years old. His family was largely Unitarian, and he liked natural history and collecting objects. He attended Anglican Shrewsbury School, then later he attended the University of Edinburgh Medical School.
To the left is the Edinburgh Medical School. To the right is Shrewsbury School, and at the bottom is the Unitarian symbol.
Darwin returned home from school on August 29, 1831, to find a letter from Henslow. This letter stated that he was a suitable naturalist for a place on the ship the HMS Beagle, with Captain Fitzroy. The ship's goal was to chart the coastline of South America. His dad, Robert Darwin, objected to the trip, but was then persuaded by his brother-in-law to let him go and fund his expedition. The voyage was delayed multiple times and then started on December 27, 1831. It was meant to only last 2 years, however it lasted 5. As intended, Darwin spent most of his time on land investigating geology and making natural history collections.
During Darwin's voyage, they stopped at the Galapagos Islands. This was where he made some of his biggest discoveries, leading to the creation of his theory of natural selection. On these islands, he noticed variation between animals of the same species on different islands, such as the finches he collected. Finches from different islands had different shaped beaks. He later concluded that the reason the beaks were shaped differently was due to the food sources on the islands. Some of the beaks were shaped to break and open nuts, and some to reach into flowers to get the nectar. Darwin also noticed variation between tortoises on the islands. Tortoises, where their food source was closer to the ground, had flatter shells than the others on a different island, where their food source was primarily cacti and had to reach to get their food. This led to his theory of natural selection.
Charles Darwin wrote a book, The Origin of Species, published on November 24, 1859. The book was considered to be the foundation of evolutionary biology. This book introduced the scientific theory that populations evolve over the course of generations through the process of natural selection. It presented that evidence that the diversity of life rose through common descent and branching patterns of evolution.
Natural selection is the process whereby organisms better adapted to their environment tend to survive and produce more offspring. This theory is similar to selective breeding. However, natural selection is done completely by nature.
One form of evidence we have is embryology. When you look at the early stages of an embryo of many different species, the embryos look almost exactly alike. Also, many species have homologous structures, which are anatomically similar structures. This can show that there is a good possibility that all organisms came from one common ancestor. Biochemistry also provides some evidence for evolution. An example is how species of animals that are more closely related share more amino acid sequences than others.